Well,
I don't want to be the last
Margaret
minute
can drive it down.
have to run.
I can drive it.
It comes in a half an hour. It only takes 15 minutes to get there.
15 minutes.
Is there going to be traffic because of the ferry?
11 o'clock
waiting time?
already.
There'll be a little traffic, but you don't have to go in the ferry
the
lane.
traffic
But
is
you want to
gonna
give an extra 5 minutes to walk down because it's
See-
dark.
Ask the elders to put that out there. I'm gonna use the ladies' room before I go.
See, I got rid of Margaret because she was such a bad driver. Now you don't want to drive down to the ferry, but Margaret will drive down to the ferry. Did I make a mistake?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
one
mean, I
more
can
good
figure
story,
it out. I
guys.
just am not
What's
that.
a good one? One more story. Memory.
Well,
All right, I'll tell you a story. Is that all right?
yeah.
With the elders.
Okay. When every summer we would go up to Lake Shuswap, and Dad would come up and Grandma Margaret would come up, and
99.
Grandpa David would have to go back into town to work, so he'd sometimes only come up on the weekends, but we'd stay there a whole
Or
month.
something like that.
And each one of his kids would get a piece of plastic
How did you know?
and
it was
a
99?
sleeping bag, and we could pick anywhere on the beach that we wanted to stay. And we'd just make a fire and put our plastic down and lay up under the stars and stuff. And every morning we'd get up and walk along the railroad track and pick up the little yellow sulfur.
Yeah.
Because the railroad cars would go by and they were just, every single one of them was just laden with sulfur, taking it to the processing plant. And one summer we got creative and said, hey, let's put it in a can and melt it and see what happens. And so we had this big quart can, probably tomato juice or something like that. We washed it out and put the sulfur in it and melted it. And Uncle Reed was taking everyone water skiing. It was my turn to go water skiing, and I jumped out, near the fire to go, and someone threw a rock at the sulfur at the fire at the same time, and it hit the sulfur can, and the sulfur splashed and went all over my leg and was on fire. Remember that part?
You jumped over the fire.
Is that what I did?
Yeah, and you
Okay.
kicked it with your, accidentally hit it with your foot.
See, I never
So
knew how it
it's
fell over.
Filled all over the back of your thigh and the side of your thigh. The can just went, all
Burnt
this
pretty
molten sulfur.
Oh, yeah. So, I think you're the one that says, get in the lake, get in the lake. And I'm just jumping around going, ah! And so I ran into the lake, and then they rushed me to the hospital, and it took hours to pick off as much sulfur as they could at the hospital, and then they just stopped doing it because it was taking my skin off with it. And I still have scars on my leg from that.
We used to lay at night, look at the stars, and you could see the satellites going over. Remember that?
Yeah.
Watch the satellites.
It's a lot easier
You can
these
see
days
the
because there's a lot
Aurora
more
Borealis.
satellites up
Yeah.
there now. You can see one about every 20 minutes
And then,
now.
and then in the north, you could see the Aurora Borealis.
Oh,
It's
you
the
can.
northern lights. Yeah.
See, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I remember when we drove up there, there was like cattle could just cross the road at any time. There was like no fences or anything on the
Yeah.
way
Yeah,
there.
well, when we went up there for that family reunion, she was pregnant with
TJ.
TJ. And she's like, we get out and we're locked out in the
We're in
middle
the-
of the wheat
we're in
field
the-
somewhere is where the thing was, and we're there for about an hour, and she's like, oh no, I think the baby's coming. So we get in the car and start
like a
driving
baby.
back to
We're in the mountains.
Missoula,
Oh my God.
Montana,
Wasn't
the
it
nearest
Yeah.
neonatal or place that can take care of a premature
Yeah.
baby or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be up there, and so we're cruising along, and she's doing okay, and I'm going through Glacier National Forest,
Yeah.
and it's all free range there, so there's no fences, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
all
Cattle
the
eat.
cattle just roam.
Yeah.
And I'm going along, and I'm kind of pushing it, and I'm going down through the and it's winding like this downhill. All of a sudden, I come flying around this corner, and there's like 5 cows in the middle of the road. I was they
Hey,
just
we
like
need to
look
go.
at me. Took
When
them
we
like
gonna
5
go?
minutes to get
We
out
have
of the
to
way.
go.
What?
I don't want to miss the ferry.
All right, time to go. Everyone pack it up and get out of
We're
here.
not
I
gonna
know
miss
you
the ferry.
like to control people, but I don't want to be controlled. When I want to go, I want to go. That's it.
Well, get in the car.
yeah.
Right.
Because
go, Carson.
everybody wants to go, and you guys are